Stolly.
It's interesting the fact that he does use that racket that's a little bit longer, because he says it gives him a little bit extra on the serve, but he chokes up on the grip on the volley. There you see their head-to-heads. Agassi leads at 8-3. 1994 US Open, though, that's the one that Agassi won in the 4th round, went on to win the title, and he said that's when he felt he could win it, after beating Chang.
And here we go with Michael Chang to start this final match. We have to be a little careful with our volume up here, because we learned during the semifinal last night that they could hear us a little occasionally, so we've got to be a little bit careful.
Does that mean you're going to whisper to me?
No, I'm not going to whisper to you ever.
You can whisper to me, Freddie.
Okay, thanks, man. The crowd are going to be divided here, because Agassi, well, he's a big favorite. Doesn't matter where you go in the world of tennis these days. Michael Chang, he's won it here 2 years in a row and is the crowd favorite. So it'll be interesting to see how they cheer for each one of these boys. Agassi's built his reputation on the return of serve, and he's tied for first in the tournament with a 39% return on return games won. That's pretty good.
Those ground has really helped, don't they?
Against Enquist, who was a pretty big server, he was returning way inside the baseline. Here against Chang, it's interesting, he's staying back behind the baseline on Michael Chang's serve, because he knows Chang's not going to serve and volley. Not very often, anyway.
And just like that, Chang is down to three break points. They've played 3 points, and Agassi's won all of them.
Pam, it's interesting, you were talking to the trainer, Doug Splin, down there. I think it's just very tough for Michael Chang, if he's got anything wrong with that hand, to go in against somebody like Agassi over 3 sets. He was fine when he was practicing this morning, but that's not playing 2 out of 3 set match against Agassi.
Well, when you develop calluses on either your hand or your feet, you really have to keep them shaped, keep them very close. Can't let them build up too much, otherwise they do split.
You also could get a blister underneath. Chang fans thought that serve was good.
It's interesting, the different tactics just to start this match off with Chang and Agassi, because when Agassi plays a serve and volley, like a big server like Michael Stick or Todd Martin or any of the big boys, Sampras, he'll return serve from on that baseline or inside it. He doesn't have to do that with Michael Chang, because he's not going to serve and volley, and it gives him a little more time, and he gives a little more air to that return of serve. He doesn't go for anything really close to the net on the return.
Just out, very close. So Chang has brought it to deuce. He was down love 40. You know, you talk about how popular Chang is. He played around a golf here the other day on Thursday. When he came back, he was going through the parking lot with his bag, and he asked one of the volunteer girls who were directing traffic. He said, "Let me direct traffic. You take my bag in." They put that orange vest on, and Chang is directing traffic, and the people are stopping, taking double takes. And this young girl got a big kick out of that. Said Michael was having a good time. 116 miles an hour on that Chang serve. That is what he's been working on. He's been trying to hit a better, more effective first serve so he can get more cheap points. Not necessarily aces, but either an unreturnable ball or a weak return. And he aced Courier on match point. And he aced Stick on match point in his last 2 matches.
Yep. Both of them in the same spot, right down the tee.
They talked to Chang about how he's gotten slow starts and he's fought his way back. And he said, you know, I don't get slow starts on purpose. I don't like necessarily playing from behind. He got off to a slow start here down love 40.
On the other side of the coin, his opponents know that if they win the first set, they've still got a long way to go before they win the match.
He can last.
Speaking of winning the first set, whoever's won the first set in these 2 matches have won 10 out of the 11 times. So this first set is huge, especially in the heat.
Pretty heavy artillery there by Chang.
They played here in 1992, I believe, in the semifinals in '93, and Chang defeated Agassi. So Agassi wanted a rematch here, and this Andre Agassi knows what that feels like now, because he hits him like that, winners like that.
Well, Chang was down love 40. He fought his way out, and he has won the first game of this match. Due to the length of the match today, we're going to rejoin the match later in the first set with Agassi serving at 3-2. We're in Mason, Ohio for the Thriftway ATP Championship final match between Andre Agassi, the #1 seed, and 2-time defending champion Michael Chang. We've had 2 service breaks. We are on serve, but in 5 games, Michael Chang has had his trainer out twice to bandage his injured right hand. These are some stats on the match so far. First serve percentage, 71 for Agassi, just 44 for Chang. That's not good. Winners 6-6. Unforced errors 14-12. So other than the service percentage, things are pretty even, as you would expect, because it is on serve. Agassi serving at 2-3.
I think you can put that service percentage of Chang's down a little bit to the hand, Tony, because throughout the tournament he's been way over 55-60%, and I think that's got to be bothering him. He's had the trainer out a couple of times. He can do that as many times as he like at the umpire's discretion. Richard Kaufman says enough. Well, that's enough. He can take an injury time out. But I just have a feeling that that last game, that may be a big game in this particular match here, because 4 breakpoint opportunities for Agassi. He couldn't put Chang away. And this man's tenacity, he's going to hang in there, blister or no blister. And a double fault in this first point is a big break for Chang.
15 on.
Goes down as an ace. Kick serve 76 miles an hour. Chang doesn't like it. Rich Kaufman. Rich Kaufman's not going to change the call.
Just in front of where your point is. That's not it. Caught the line.
You're absolutely positively
She saw
sure?
it. I saw it. Yep. Caught the line.
That's Rich Kaufman, the umpire.
We had Brad Gilbert up here last night, and he was saying how Michael Chang does question a lot of calls, and a lot of the guys don't really like that.
That's just perfect timing to do that.
Take a look at the 95 review for Agassi. 59-7, 5 titles. He's been unbeaten in the summer on the hard courts. He's just having a great year, and you just saw one of the reasons why, that huge forehand.
Yep. There's that volley again. You worry about it every time he goes for it, and that time he just didn't finish the shot. He sort of pushed it. He didn't swing hard enough at it.
A little slow getting up to it, too, wasn't he? I'm telling you, both players have to feel this heat. The conditions down the tennis court are just very, very difficult for both players. 30-all.
I think sometimes, too, when it's so hot, your decision-making ability on the court is not as good as when you're comfortable. Of course, this time it's the first serve that takes Michael Chang out wide. Andre quick to get in on it and leaves no doubt.
Got in on top of that one and finished the shot pretty well.
Well, he's using that kick serve to take Chang way out of position. Chang tried to loop it to buy some time to get back into court, but Agassi cut it off early, and we're 3-all. Michael Chang is having a good year as well. 46-11, 2 titles. He's won this tournament 2 years in a row, trying to three-peat.
Hasn't really done that well in the Super 9 series, though, Chang. He's played in 4 of them. He's 3rd round at Indian Wells, 3rd round at Key Biscayne. He's a quarterfinalist in Rome and Montreal. So quarterfinal finish. This is as well as he's done in the Super 9 series in '95.
Of course, his other great result of the year was getting to the finals of the French Open, but losing to the machine.
Yeah, Thomas Muster. 3-all and 30 love.
And Thomas Muster, you haven't seen him over here yet. He'll probably arrive next week. He's played 1 week before the US Open. He's ranked number 3 in the world at the moment, basically because of his clay court expertise. 95-mile-an-hour slider, that one for an ace.
Agassi elected to rest a little bit there, so Chang serves 2 aces in a row. He now leads 4-3, first set. We are at the Thriftway ATP Championship match in Mason, Ohio. We are on serve, though each has broken once. Tuesday night is a great night of tennis on ESPN2. First, Monica Seles makes a return to the tour at the DeMaurier Limited Women's Open, and ESPN2 will have that match live for the first night of a full week of coverage. Then ESPN2 begins its coverage of the Volvo International. Andre Agassi and Boris Becker are the top seeds, so tune in for a full night of tennis Tuesday beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. And of course, the Volvo can be seen on ESPN tomorrow at 1:30. Agassi serving new tennis balls, service percentage 67%, winning 73% on first serves. That's through the first 4 matches of this event.
There's a squash shot from Michael Chang there. You don't see that too often. Get over there, and he slices at that one. Couldn't quite get over there.
That's fatigue, I think. Yep, they're feeling the legs, no question, in my view. And you can understand, I don't care what kind of shape you're in, this kind of weather will just kill you.
15.
That's his second ace. You saw the last 2 points of the previous game with Chang serving. Agassi didn't go for 2 serves. Trying to conserve some energy.
30.
To get over there, he got there in time to be able to produce the topspin lob for a winner.
Agassi makes the move into the net. Good technique on the volley, but doesn't get it in the right spot. And Chang, as quick as he is, time to get over there. Agassi just doesn't move for this. Look at that. Head of the racket up, comes underneath it, fades it out to the sideline.
It's 30-all.
30.
Did not go over. So Agassi holds his 4-all. These guys have played a lot of tennis. We'll show you their average match time. For Agassi, 1 hour and 14 minutes, played 77 games. Look at Chang, 2 hours and 3 minutes and 111 games. So Michael Chang has had to work very, very hard.
Another interesting thing about that, Tony, is that the last couple of days Agassi's played in the heat of the day. Chang has played in the evening, and he's had a couple of very tough matches in the evening, and now he's come out to play the final in excruciating weather like this.
4 matches, 48% first serve percentage for Chang. He wins 78%. Winners and unforced errors. You see more winners and unforced errors. That part's real good.
The only match that Michael Chang has played in the daytime before this was when he beat Patrick Rafter in his second match of the tournament. The other 3 before today was played at night.
Evening, yep.
4-all, 30 love for Chang. Agassi doesn't think the serve was good. He thought it was long, but Chang gets credit for it, so he has 40 love. Ace number 4.
119 mile an hour, that one.
Chang leads 5-4 first set. Earlier we talked to Andre Agassi about how he'll deal with the heat here in Cincinnati. It has been absolutely brutal.
I think I'll be a lot more prepared, a lot more disciplined in my fluid intake, and a lot more disciplined in my food intake. And I think that just getting out there in the heat, it's not so much that your body's quitting on you, it's just mentally and emotionally you're just getting a little, you know, discouraged or a little tired, and it's a question of just getting used to it on that level too. So I feel like I'll be all right.
So as you can see, they have fans on the players on the court changes. And Fred, you mentioned it's as much mental as physical.
And Agassi has said, you know, doing well here. He goes to New Haven from here, and then he's got he said it's going to be very tough on him next week mentally in New Haven. Physically, he's okay. He's been able to get through the heat the last 3 weeks. But mentally, this is draining. When you have somebody up the other end of the court like Michael Chang, you know he's not going to go away. And it's Chang who's in front at the moment. Agassi's got to whole serve to stay in this.
And you got to think, because of the conditions, that the person that wins the first set, the adrenaline's going to pop and really go, and the other guy's going to say, holy Moses, now I have to do it twice. That's the air temperature, 96 degrees. Now you think how hot it is with the heat and the sun coming off that hard tennis court as Agassi serves.
It's going to be an interesting play here. Chang was halfway in the net before the serve got to him. It looks as though he may chip and charge and put a bit of pressure on.
Andre having a little conversation with Rich Kaufman.
So if that was on a game point, you would have done
it. Missed it.
So Andre's a little edgy here.
Yeah, this is a good tactic from Chang. He's not comfortable at the net, but here he is. He doesn't want to run around the baseline, and he chips and charges. He makes a good volley. This is the returner serve. He's on his way into the net. Moves well there. He chokes up on the racket a little bit, takes it up, makes the first volley, and it forces Agassi to go down the line, and he missed the target.
15.
So then Agassi comes up with a big serve and gets a weak return and hammers it away.
He's decided to play a game like that here and just take his licks. If he wins it, then he gets the first set in his pocket. He makes a great volley here.
This is also easier on the legs going to the net than is running back and forth on the baseline.
That's a great shot again. Chang trying to slow things down a little bit. Agassi just with perfect timing on that, because that ball is 15 feet over the net with topspin. It's jumping up at you.
Now, given what's happened the first 2 points on this deuce side in this game, you'd think he'd take a little off, make sure he gets his first serve in.
Chang almost stole one there. A great overhead by Agassi.
This is the overhead, and Chang guesses right down the middle of the court, forces Agassi to play a good, tough volley. This is a good overhead, though. He's back to three-quarter court. Look at that leap in the air.
Game point.
He made that one.
And ace number 3. It takes it to 5-all.
5-all.
5 games all. ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball heads to the Astrodome as Houston hosts the Mets. The team split the first 2 games of the series. The Astros still lead the National League in the wild card race for a playoff berth. So tune in tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Of course, the folks here in Cincinnati don't want to see Houston do too well and catch up with the Reds, who are leading them by 6.5 in their division. Huge forehand on the first point by Agassi. There's Chang, 52% of first serves.
That's not good for Chang, because he's normally, isn't that?
Wins 68% on the first serves.
Lost the first point of this game, which I think is important.
15-all.
Well, if Chang's going to try to hit that first serve real hard, as he's been doing a lot of the time, Fiery, to try to win more cheap points, he's not going to serve with a good percentage.
No, exactly.
He's only 5'9", and you wonder if he plays a player that will attack his second serve, maybe it would backfire on Chang. Agassi on the attack. Got the short ball after hitting a good return to serve.
Watch out now. Agassi here moving in now. He's being aggressive to try and put it to Chang in this game. He makes the overhead. It's 15-30. If he gets a second serve here, look out.
It is obviously a crucial part of this first set. 5-all, 30-all, and all of a sudden the adrenaline's picked up. Both guys are moving better. They're on their toes. Brad Gilbert in the dark hat.
Rich McGee, the man next to him, who is Andre's personal assistant, does a lot of stuff for him, gets everything organized for his next trip, and he's going to New Haven after today, as is Michael Chang. That's where they'll play next week.
Great point for Agassi. From New Haven at 1:30 tomorrow on ESPN. Our first matchup there will be Mats Wilander against the qualifier Jim Pugh, who's a big guy who is a terrific doubles player. So you can get into the New Haven scene tomorrow at 1:30 on ESPN. Right here, big-time tennis and a tough spot for Chang. Agassi hammers the forehand to break serve. So the #1 seed will be serving for the first set when we come back. few of the spectators have slipped out to get a cold drink, get out of that blistering sun. They better hurry back because Andre Agassi is going to serve for the first set against Michael Chang. He has just broken serve to lead 6-5. They swapped early breaks. Agassi broke for 2-1. Chang broke right back for 2-all. And then with a huge forehand, Agassi has broken the Chang serve and will be serving for the first set. It is about 120 degrees on the tennis court. The Agassi service profile, 72%. That's very good. He's winning 65% of the points on the first serve and 44 on the second. But this is what he wants right here.
But
win that first set.
Win that first set has got to be a great feeling for him because mentally I think he's a little more fragile than Michael Chang. If Agassi wins this one, I don't think you're going to find Chang go away. But on the other side of the coin, Andre Agassi's had a tough few weeks. And he really wants this one.
But Brad Gilbert has changed Agassi's thinking too.
The tough end of the court. The sun is much more in the server's eyes. All 3 breaks so far have been up this end of the court.
Chang doesn't like it.
Here's Agassi and what he has to look at on his toss. And he keeps those eyes on that ball beautifully. Heck of a picture. Show you what a champion does.
Super slow-mo camera's great, isn't it? That can get you nearly frame by frame. You go through that. That's fabulous.
15-all. By Chang, some of the fans thought had gone out.
So many times how the player hits their two-hander down the line against these guys that like to back into the backhand side of the court is just a huge play. Chang scores on a big one here. You see how far over the backhand side of the court Agassi is. Very vulnerable.
So now it is 15-30. He takes it on the rise, gets it on the top of the bounce, and gives him the best angle into the court. Gets him to 30-all.
There's the backhand shoulders, snaps the wrist. Then Chang starts to float it up in the air. You can see it come up now. Watch the eyes and shoulder rotation. He can take that one down the line or away from the body. He's been successful with both of those shots today.
30-all. The fourth for Agassi takes him to set point. 115 miles per hour. This is when you try to reach back and find a little something special. You have the feeling that under these hot conditions, whoever wins this first set will probably prevail.
Again, he looked into the sun there, and you can see Agassi trying to find it, the sun and the sweat,
perspiration, yeah.
Throws up and then he stops.
Wisely. You see him squinting there. It took him 56 minutes. But Andre Agassi has won the first set over the two-time defending champion Michael Chang, 7-5.
Well, Chang's lost the opening set in his last couple of matches, whether it was against Michael Stick or Jim Courier, and he's come back and won in 3. But as we've alluded to the fact, they were played in the evening. And this one is played in the heat of the afternoon. A little after 3 o'clock here in Cincinnati, and we've said how warm it is, so it's a tough way and a long way home now for Chang.
Midway through that point, Andre was on his way to net, didn't like the depth of his forehand and backed up, and he was never the same after that. Chang took the initiative. Both been very successful coming to net today. 11 of 13, 85% for Agassi, and 7 of 8 for Chang.
Well, Agassi's a pretty good warhorse when he wins the first set. This year, 56-1 when he has won the first set.
We've said that he is a great front runner,
Yep.
isn't he? When he's playing confidently, that ball looks bigger every time it comes at him.
Boris Becker was the only one to beat Agassi.
He hasn't played against somebody with the tenacity of Chang.
Yeah, that was at Wimbledon, of course, when Agassi had a set and 2 breaks in the second set against Becker, and then Becker came back storming and won in 4. Chang at 40 love, first game of the second set.
Out. 40-15.
I think it's really smart by Agassi now. He's got a set. He's down love 40 on the Chang serve, so he takes a gamble, a crack at a second serve, try to end it one way or the other. Same thing there. So Chang holds the first serve in the second set. We've got a long ways to go.
Great American insurance companies. I'd like to thank the following goal.
The championship match of the Thriftway ATP Championships. Andre Agassi has won the first set 7-5 over Michael Chang. They are working on Chang's hand on the changeover moments ago. Doug Spreen, trainer's out. This is the 3rd time that they've put a new bandage on the palm of Michael Chang. He had a callus that split open last night, and that can't help his situation any. Chang did win his first game of the second set.
The thing he's got to worry about, Tony, is Chang looks up and says, thank you, Lord, you've taken the sun away. We've got cloud coverage now. Michael Chang, a very religious young man.
Delayed call in the first serve, and Agassi was talking to the umpire about it.
Michael Chang, a very religious young man there, and the thing he's got to worry about here, though, Tony, as you look at the expertise on the volley, Michael Chang's not going to go away. He's got a short grip on that volley. Look at it, and then he sneaks across there and says, hey, I played a pretty good one there. But if that blister gets any worse in the next couple of weeks, he's got a problem, and he's got to get it better for the next one. That's what happened in the first set. You see Agassi 20 winners, Chang 12 unforced errors. Agassi there more unforced errors than winners, but he's the one that's been going for everything. If you look at those stats, 71% first serves in for Agassi.
Yeah, bad luck for Chang. He had Agassi down love 30. Hit what looked like would have been a pretty good approach off the return of serve, but it hits the top of the net and bounced up. Here comes Agassi. Now he comes in, gets it at the top of the bounce. He can do anything he wants with this one. Hits it down the line for a winner, so that was a huge point. Could have been love 40. Instead, it is 15-30. That's where that extra topspin comes in handy. This return is fairly low. It's short, but Agassi's able to get low to high on it. Coming up right here, and he hits it with some pace, enough topspin for control to bring it back down, and it gets him to 30 all.
Chang sitting all over the line there, waiting for the forehand volley, and he picked it right. Again, he's been doing this tactic for the last couple of service games of Andre Agassi. Here, look, he looks like he might shift over, but he pretty much is watching the line and makes sure of that forehand volley.
bit of relief for the players now with the sun gone momentarily.
A little breeze, too.
Yep. I'll enjoy that for a while.
Doesn't make us mad either, does it, sitting up here?
No.
So in case you joined us late, Agassi won the first set 7-5. Serving at love 1 and deuce in the second set. Agassi's been a little bit irritable down there. He's questioned some calls. I guess when it's that hot and humid down there, you would get a little cranky.
Yep. Well, you get to the point you want to get off the court. You wish the close one's in.
Yep. I always say tennis players see with their heart, not with their eyes.
Never easy hitting the smash on the way in.
Well, his feet never did quit moving. They didn't set up. Again, that's partial fatigue, the frustration. You see Brad Gilbert and friends up there watching. That time, Agassi got well behind that defensive lob, let it bounce, and then slid forward to hit it.
It was a good defensive lob from Chang also, but not quite deep enough. And Agassi, as you looked at it and then moved forward, got right underneath it, and then Chang was moving in.
Yeah, you got inside the baseline. I don't either. Game point for Agassi now, trying to get even at 1-all in the second set. You know, when you think about fire playing on a day like this, it's so hot and humid and everything else, who would you hate to play more than a Chang or an Agassi, who get the ball back all the time? They return all your serves. They can chase balls. They keep it in play. It's brutal.
And they get it back so early, it keeps coming back to you very quickly.
On our tour, they always want to play me when it's hot and humid. Very short.
Take a little time, huh?
Very short rallies.
Good second serve wide.
Uh-oh. I
don't know what Chang was looking at there. He stayed in the deuce court. I thought maybe they'd call it a neck court or something, a let, but no, it's a game point for Agassi.
Wow, what was that?
Agassi again having problems just finishing these games off. He wants to do it in a hurry. He knows the man at the other end of the court, even though he's got a blistered hand, is not going to go away.
Oh, missed it.
Boy.
It's easy to say it from here, but he went for more than he needed, because I don't think Agassi's going to chase this one.
He mishits this one as well. He doesn't, what's it make there? He doesn't get it in the frame right in the middle of the racket, and he's a little disgusted with that one because that would have given him a break point.
And a big serve by Agassi makes it 1-all in the second set. Our week-long coverage of the Volvo in New Haven begins at 1:30 tomorrow on ESPN. Vielander against Pugh will be our match tomorrow. Week-long coverage. We hope you'll be with us. The beat goes on, getting ready for the U.S. Open. Get that kind of angle on the off forehand to land that thing inside the service box. It took Chang way outside the doubles alley. wonder if one service break will be enough to win the second set.
Well, they had, what, 3 of them in the first set.
Yeah. Now it's love 30. Agassi trying to put on some pressure.
Way behind the baseline, he throws that one up in the air, and Agassi he's getting sneaky quick on that. When he's got Chang that far back and you throw that up, it does give you time to move forward.
And also Chang is trying to buy time. He's hoping that his opponent won't do that, let it bounce and let him get back in position. So now it's love 30, and Agassi looking at a second serve. Good.
I think at love 30, he could have taken a bigger crack at that second serve. Instead, he let Chang in on that. He was all over Agassi's return. Again, Brad Gilbert wanted to see Andre really punish the second serve of Michael Chang, and he's done it sometimes, but not consistently.
So now double break point for Agassi.
Yeah, this will be a huge
big
game.
Yep. Agassi's won the first set 7-5, and it's 1-all and 15-40. Chang serving in the second set. Championships match here at Thriftway ATP Championship. He was hoping he could nail him with that topspin lob. He was way out of position.
Yep, saves one of them. It was a good effort from Chang. He knew that if he got back there, he just had to get it back into play. It's a good leap.
Still a break point for the #1 seed, the #1 player in the world.
And irrespective of what happens here, all of the next couple of weeks, he's going to stay the #1 player in the world till after the US Open at least.
Yeah. Sampras won, I think, 73 points here, and the worst that Agassi will do is around 243 or 45, something like. If he loses, 340 if he wins. So he does stretch his lead over Sampras.
Well, guts and determination, if you need it, go see this man. He's down 2 break points here, gets it back to Juice, and then wraps this one down the line from behind the baseline for an outright winner.
What good racket preparation. He was ready very early. That one goes wide.
Interesting fact, last year when we were here, it was Sampras. Everybody was saying, Sampras has had such a good year, and it's been terrific for him, and he's so far ahead, and is anybody going to threaten him? And he was even injured last year, and he was that far ahead.
Over 3,000
What
points.
happens now? You know, now you say, well, who's going to get anywhere near Agassi? Who can touch him at the US Open? He's winning all these tournaments. He may not win today, but
boy, Chang has just jumped all over those short forehands. There's the situation, 94 here. Agassi led by 3,711 points. Sampras, sorry. And then look at it now. And it's going to be more than that at the end of this event.
It's about a 5,000 point turnaround in 12 months.
Yep.
Hooey.
Wonderful ground strokes by both players, hitting with great pace.
Yeah, you'd like to have that speed gun on this forehand. Deuce.
Both players have 5 aces right now.
You just got to admire everything about these two players. Can't say enough about it.
Can't imagine a better class. You know, they talk about all these top guys all within a year or two of each other. It's a great quality. American men's tennis very healthy right now.
Sampras, Todd Martin, Courier. That was a long struggle, but Michael Chang has held on, and he leads 2-1 in the second set. That's the situation here in Cincinnati. 7-5 for Agassi the first set, 1-2 in the second. One of the biggest stories in tennis recently is Monica Seles' return to the tour. And ESPN2 is on the story. Tune in for her first match back at the DeMaurier Limited Women's Open. That's Tuesday night, live at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Great for women's tennis to have Monica Seles back. We asked Michael Chang who he thought was better. A big rival between Agassi and Sampras. We said, all right, Michael, who do you think's the better player? And this is what he had to say.
I think it's difficult to say who's clearly number one. I think Andre, you know, obviously he's playing some great tennis and stuff. But I would say, if I were to break it down in service, I would say Pete's better on grass, Andre's better on clay, and I toss it up on hard court.
Well, that's a little dance, isn't it?
There you go, yeah. Sounds like a Drysdale quote.
Sounds like a politician.
Yeah.
You got to be very careful. Agassi the serve at 1-2 in the second set. Oh, that looked well out.
15 love.
Thing about Chang, he's thinking, you know, there's Rich Kaufman, the umpire, sitting right there on that line, but he doesn't get any help. Kaufman says, I can't see it clearly out, so I can't call it. So that goes down as ace number 6 for Andre Agassi. Agassi's never won this title.
30 left.
It's number 7.
It's getting closer.
Wow.
That's 3 in a row.
And you know he's got to go for 4 in a row, right?
Of course.
Got to.
It's his ambition to hit one at 120 miles an hour. That one's at 110. He wants to get it up to 120 miles an hour.
This is a good time to try it. Just long.
Now, do you go for the ace on the second
No.
serve? Didn't think so.
40 love leads aren't good enough.
Maybe, yeah. He did.
He wins the game. He did it at 97 miles per hour on that second serve. So games are now 2-all.
I think he was going for the ace because
Yeah.
he usually kicks it out wide. He was
He was going for it, sure.
But he wasn't going to try to hit it 120 to get it.
Well, he hasn't been able to hit one at 120 yet. That's why. He said, Brad Gilbert gave me a good answer to that, but I can't put it on the air.
Yes.
So Michael Chang, who has won this tournament the last 2 years, is serving at 2-all in the second set. He's lost the first set 7-5. It's out.
15 left.
They've been out there an hour and 19 minutes. That's what they're playing for. They're also playing for the prestige of winning this Super 9 event here.
Those Waterford Crystal trophies are fabulous.
Chang is serving from way over near the single sideline, trying to open his court. He got the opening and just missed.
You see him do that a lot at the French Open on the clay.
Yeah. We've seen him serve underhanded over there the year he won it against Lendl. He served underhand once. He's done a lot of things. He's a smart tennis player. Gets the most out of what he has, and he knows how to take advantage of opponents' weaknesses.
He served underhand in that match. I think he was cramping at the time. Did anything he could to get out of that match. Matter of fact, the other night after he beat Courier, he was in the locker room and he was cramping up after that 3-hour match.
15-30 now.
Took a lot out of him, that one too, as well. So danger time here now for Chang at 2-all, 15-30. Smart move there from Agassi. Rather than race forward on that ball, which would have been a much more difficult shot, he elected to let the ball bounce. He practices that stroke a lot with Gilbert, and now he has, as a reward, a couple of break point opportunities.
A little bit of a change up on the first serve, 91 miles an hour.
Carl
Agassi,
Chang.
it's a little bit early going after that.
Excuse me, Pammy, that was Andre's brother who travels with him. Sometimes they play doubles together in some of the tournaments. They're great buddies. Well, Chang takes advantage of the short ball.
Well, the reason they love him here, Tony, in Cincinnati, he's won it twice, is because of this. It's a very warm day. He's down up against the wall, 15-40 down here, and has come back again.
That's out, so again, break point.
Got to do it one more time.
Yeah, it's 2 service games in a row that Chang's been down 15-40, gotten back to deuce, but now another break point.
He went for the heater.
Well, the linesman immediately signaled unsighted.
That's because his angle is a little difficult there, because a lot of the lines judges will go wide out and take that angle. He's come back in, Richard Kaufman. He's standing inside that singles line, and Chang's questioning the call, but it was way out.
Well, the thing was, there was no call, but it was Rich Kaufman.
See the chair ump, the lines judge there. He's inside the singles line, which is an unusual place for him to stand. Some of them like to do that, different angles.
Well, the players move around. They don't want to get blocked off.
There's that backhand up the line that oftentimes will catch Agassi.
Normally, I don't think it would catch him as much, but they can feel it in the legs, both players. This is far enough away that Andre just can't hit the accelerator quickly enough. This is the 16th break point for Agassi. He's broken twice. Chang is 1 for 3.
It just shows you who's been going for the winners, doesn't it?
Drop volley pays off for Agassi. He gets the break. He leads 3-2 in the second set. He has won the first. He wasn't trying this, but it worked for him. It is a packed house here for the final match. Agassi leading Chang 1-0, and with a break, they are playing for a lot of money and a lot of points. The champion here wins $254,340 points. The runner-up, 133.8 and 243 points. This is a Super 9 event, and that means more prize money. That's the trophy that the winner will get.
Waterford donate a lot of those trophies around the tour, and even though we have a seniors event, ATP Tour seniors event here the week before the championships here, has been going for 5 years. It's been received well here, and the boys are very proud to receive those Waterford Crystal trophies in those events as well. Not quite as big as the big boys, but they're nice.
How'd you play in the event?
Not well.
That's why you wouldn't practice with me this week.
Yeah, I'm on a fine edge at the moment.
15.
You're going to find Agassi now just bear down.
Yep.
He's a good front runner. He's got the break of serve that he wanted. You won't find any long rallies here. He'll want to just whip that forehand. If he gets a good three-quarter pace serve in, he'll be working to make those points finish in a hurry right now.
That one was 111, just missed long. That's got him. Chang was closing in, all the weight going forward.
Remember back to the start of the championships here, Agassi played a young man by the name of Daniel Vajcek, and it takes him about 3 or 4 attempts at the topspin lob before he really gets the range. When he does, he can play it off either wing.
40 love now, and that service ace number 9 stretches Agassi's lead to 4-2. I'm Tony Trabert, with me Pam Shriver and Fred Stolle. We hope you're enjoying our coverage of this Thriftway ATP Championship match. Chang, two-time defending champion, in trouble now, down a set and a break.
Love 15.
Michael Chang, 23 years of age, ranked 5. He's won over $750,000 this year to this point. Agassi putting on the pressure now. Agassi is 25. He's ranked number 1, and he's over $1.5 million in prize money.
He gets
this year
254 if he wins this, and Chang gets 137 if Agassi beats him here as the runner-up. Not a bad week's work.
That serve was 117 miles an hour by Chang.
Stopped a run of 8 straight points for Agassi.
This was probably one of the better points of the match, and both players all over the court here. And here, this is a blistering forehand. Agassi does a great job, has to take the hand off the rack, a little slide, but watch Chang. He comes in here, he's forced to come in. Agassi has all the time in the world, sets up, gets it cross court with a big flick of the wrist, knows he's make it if he gets it over the net, and all the time in the world. Now 2 break points for 2 breaks in this second set.
And that was an awful hard, tough run for Chang.
Yep.
You got to come back up in 20 seconds serve to try to stay in this match. He missed it. A gift from Chang to Agassi. Agassi has 2 breaks and leads 5-2. He'll be serving for the match. This week's IBM ATP Tour Charity Sportsman of the Week is presented to Greg Gruzetsky, who took time this week to visit the Children's Hospital Medical Center in Cincinnati, along with a couple of other players. And a total of $5,000 will be given to the National Junior Tennis League in the name of Greg Gruzetsky. At each tour stop in the U.S., the IBM ATP Tour Charities and the host tournament make a donation to the USTA National Junior Tennis League in the name of the Sportsman of the Week. Sensational crowd. It's another sellout here, and Andre Agassi, the #1 player in the world, is serving for the match and hoping to win this championship for the first time.
Thank you.
Michael Chang, who has won for the last 2 years, has other ideas.
Last time a #1 seed won here, I think it was John McEnroe. Quite a while ago.
I think he actually lost far. He got to the finals.
Yeah, he got to the finals and lost.
Edberg won, and he was #1 seed.
15.
Chang trying to take the attack to Agassi, but he had the answer in that first point. They've been out there an hour and 32 minutes.
Agassi's forehand started off on the shaky side, but right now he's hit 13 forehand winners as opposed to 6 unforced errors on that forehand side, and that is good tennis.
And Agassi is just 2 points away from this championship.
So he wants to finish it in a hurry.
Yep. Well, because Chang is coming in behind some of the second serves, too, Andre says, geez, I got to make a little deeper, a little harder second serve. 30-15. Just missed. Chang continues to put on the pressure whenever he can.
It's got to be frustrating for Agassi. You're a couple of points away. You think you're cruising. You got 2 service breaks. You lead 30, love, and then suddenly there you go. It's 30 all.
And
he's not going to go away.
You know they feel it in the legs too. Big serve here is what Andre would like. Doesn't get it. Now does Chang attack fiery? Who knows? Topspin lob from about 4 yards behind the baseline gets Agassi to match point.
That's the only shot that would have won it for him, because Chang in the aggressive mode there at 30 all comes in behind it. It's a good volley, but Agassi, now listen to this crowd. They love him.
They are acknowledging both players.
Exactly.
Between the legs, but it was called out. What an effort.
This gets a standing ovation, and why not?
Some of the fans are standing and bowing.
That's incredible. Have a look at this again. Act there between his legs, and he thumps this down the sideline, and he thinks he's made it. It missed by about 2 inches.
And they're a buzz here.
Well, now everybody settles down back now. It's deuce.
And again, match point for Agassi. Agassi wins the Thriftway ATP Championship over Michael Chang, the 2-time defending champion, 7-5, 6-2 in 1 hour and 36 minutes. Sensational stuff, Fred Stolle, under these conditions.
Unbelievable. The first thing he did when he got over there was ask for the umbrella, and he turned on the fan, and the fans have loved him here today, right throughout the championships here. And Agassi has made a believer out of me, because in these heat in the heat here this week. He's played in the evening, he's played in the afternoon, and he has just been absolutely incredible. He's got better and better as things have gone on. This man, though, has got to, you got to give him a lot of credit. He's played some good tennis this week, and he's going to be tough for the rest of the tour.
So Andre Agassi has won the championship 7-5, 6-2. We'll be back in a moment with more. This was the first match point. Agassi goes back with his ball over his head, and watch what he does. And he misses this shot, misses winning the championship by about 2 inches. For a moment, he thought he had won it right there, but he got another match point, and he converted it. So Agassi has won 7-5, 6-2. Now let's go down to our champion and Pam Shriver. Pammy?
Well, thanks, Tony. Andre, I'll tell you, the first match point you had, if you had ended with that shot, it would have been, it still was the most phenomenal shot, but what a way that would have been to end the tournament.
Yeah, that would have been something. Thank you. But, you know, Michael's such a tough competitor. I think he's proved it over the last few years here, but certainly this week, coming back from match points down against Courier, down a set against Steek, and I knew I had to close him out on any first opportunity, and that was the first match point. And needless to say, he was running all over the court and trying real hard, so I had to, in my mind, I had to win it on that one. So you just kind of get a little bit creative when that ball gets a little too close to the ground.
Well, you certainly gave it a big thump. I'll tell you, the first set in weather like this is so important. In your guys' previous encounters, 10 of the 11 times whoever won the first set won the match. Did you think today's first set was really the whole match?
You can never say winning the first set against Michael or really any player is the match, but certainly that would set the momentum. I mean, I feel like you know, Michael played 3 hours against Courier 2 days ago and then came back for another 2-hour match last night. And I knew if I got up the first set, all that would do would make his job more difficult. But he's risen to the occasions plenty of times. And I just knew I had to stay focused. I didn't want to go 3 sets. I wanted to get it over with as soon as possible. And had I lost the first, I would have still tried to win it in 3. But I just did what I could, and I happened to go my way.
From midway through the second set, you went on a tear. You won 12 of 13 points, getting up 30-11 the last game. Was it one of those things where you see the finish line close and you just dig in and try that much more?
Yeah, you know, it's just the conditions are so tough out here that once you get up that break and you realize all I have to do is hold serve 3 times, maybe twice if I can break again and the match is over with, you really dig down deep. And I felt like that being up a game gives you the luxury of going for bigger shots, and I came up with some big offensive shots that came close to the lines to win a few of those points in a row. But again, there's nothing you can take away from the way Michael played, and I feel like you can go on 14 points a string, but unless you can close it out, you know, in this game you can't run out the clock, so you got to put them away.
Well, congratulations, Andre, on being the 1995 Thriftway ATP Tour Championship. Thank you, Tony.
All right, Pam, thank you very much. There were no losers today. Michael Chang played a beautiful match, but our champion is the best in the world, Andre Agassi. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
I'm into tennis.
The Sports Authority has everything for tennis.
I'm into baseball, too.
Everything for baseball, too.
And I play a little golf.
Golf? We got it. Plus your favorite brand names. Get in the swing of spring at the Sports Authority with 3 new Tour Series tennis rackets from Head. Head rackets are the #1 brand on the Pro Tour and the favorite racket of superstar Andre Agassi. And everyday low prices mean you never wait for a sale.
Hey, I'm always into saving some cash.
The Sports Authority. You've never seen anything quite like it.
Welcome back. Agassi defeated Chang in straight sets. And now let's go down to the center court for the awards ceremony.
I'd just like to say very special thanks to my coach, Brad Gilbert, for just making all my dreams in this game come true. Thanks to all the ball kids for not passing out here and helping us not pass out. I appreciate all your help, all the sponsors. The tournament from the players' perspective is an entire success, and so many of us look forward to coming back every year, and I'm definitely one of them. So I'll see you next year. Thanks.
So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back to wrap things up.